What if you could see a flash of genius? What if you could witness a moment of truth? What if you could watch the future change forever? In sports car endurance racing, there is one race that stands apart. One race that separates the contenders from the pretenders. One race like no other. That race is the 24 Hours of Le Mans. A contest where only the toughest will survive and only the most daring will seize victory. This is where new ideas are crowned in glory, old technologies are doomed to defeat, and the world's top manufacturers battle to determine the very future of the automobile. This year, the 24 Hours of Le Mans is where the world's first ever hybrid LMP1 race car, the TS030 from Toyota, will make its debut. It represents a massive pioneering effort and an historic milestone in auto racing. But most of all, this car represents what is possible when nothing is allowed to be impossible. Built from the ground up in only 9 months, Toyota's hybrid is a testament to a nation and a manufacturer united against tragedy. Into an idea whose time is now. As Toyota prepares for its return to endurance racing, all eyes are on the future. But for Toyota, this story began long ago.
The history of Toyota Motorsport is back in rallying. Early 70s it started. It came to Cologne in the late 70s, and it starts to really develop with Toyota World Rally Championship titles end of the 80s, early 90s. We then moved in 1997 to the first outing of Toyota Motorsport in endurance racing at Le Mans with the TS020, the Toyota GT1 car. Now, after 10 years of Formula One in the 21st century, we are back with the Toyota LMP1 racing car, the TS030 HV.
Toyota is a big company in terms of road cars, but also in racing. They have a lot of heritage. I mean, just go back into the years of sports car racing. You look at that super sexy GT1 car they brought in the end of the 90s.
So listen to the roar for the drivers of that number 3 Toyota.
All that know-how and the expertise they generated in these years is going into this car you can see behind me.
Toyota had planned to race the new hybrid at Le Mans in 2013, but in 2011, when Japan was struck by massive earthquakes and a devastating tsunami, everything changed.
Toyota was facing a number of serious problems. Our top management wanted to show their support for Toyota's workers and give them hope, and also show the world what Toyota could do. We decided to drastically accelerate our Le Mans schedule and field a car 1 year early in 2012.
Most manufacturers take years to compete in the top tier of LMP racing. Toyota refused to wait that long.
On the 27th of September 2011, we got the final confirmation that we would go back to endurance racing in 2012.
That meant less than 9 months to build it, test it, and have it race ready for the toughest sports car endurance race in the world, the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
The announcement that Toyota would be competing at Le Mans with a hybrid vehicle was hugely exciting. Toyota is one of the world leading companies in terms of hybrid technology in its road vehicles, and to participate in a project that demonstrates that hybrid technology and hybrid systems can provide motorsport at the very highest level to compete with ordinary technology is fantastic to be a part of.
But the return to Le Mans isn't just an historic occasion for Toyota. It is a watershed event for all endurance racing.
Well, hybrid technology is the future in racing. There's nothing as tough as the Le Mans race to prove this technology to the world, to the manufacturers.
In the beginning, there was no hybrid race car, and we approached the ACO to discuss the possibility of creating one. Although in those first meetings, we were far from agreement, the ACO wanted to support this new technology. In the end, even though it took several years to come together, Toyota is very grateful.
The hybrid technology is for sure now is getting very strong, and everybody knows that Toyota is a major actor in this technology. It's good. It's the kind of things we need today to show to the world that motorsport is not burning fuel for nothing. It's making technology to help road cars to save fuel.
And hybrid technology is changing all the rules.
We've been talking with Toyota for a long time about this project and how the regulation should be written with this project, because it's for sure the regulation is completely different.
But working closely with the ACO doesn't mean getting a free ride.
We are not allowed, and it's not possible, to deploy our full capacity on hybrid racing. The regulations were definitely not tailor-made for us. It's the other way around. We had to tailor-made our powertrain for the regulations.
That's a small price to pay. And no one knows it better than the pioneer of Toyota's hybrid technology, Takeshi Uchiyomada.
One of the reasons to participate in Le Mans is that the systems and components are exposed to extreme conditions during the race, which will allow us to acquire invaluable insights and technology that we can later transfer to our production models.
More than any of Toyota's other racing programs, their hybrid LMP1 efforts share the most direct connection with their production car. And on January 6th, it's the moment of truth. The day they marry the hybrid race engine to the chassis.
We are in Cologne, middle of Germany, on a very cold winter day, just the start of the new year. But we are here working flat out. But I haven't seen the car assembled in one piece, and I'm waiting for that moment desperately.
12 years ago we had the fire-up of the Le Mans GT1 car, and today here in Cologne we had the TS030 HV fire-up of the engine.
I'm really looking forward to that day when you go out the first time, when you hit engine screaming, when you feel the car and you hit the road. It's you in the car alone in your own little world, in that little monocoque, and that's a very special moment.
We are now definitely ready to roll out the car. We are not ready to race. We have some months ahead.
Coming up, sometimes even race car drivers get car sick.
At the beginning you feel a bit sick. I have to say the first day was tough.
We go behind the scenes at Toyota's super secret race simulation facility. Next. They're one of the world's biggest automotive manufacturers, and they do things in a big way. Toyota's push to compete in this year's 24 Hours of Le Mans is a massive undertaking of global proportions. The engine is built in Japan, the chassis is constructed in Germany, and the testing is being done in France and Spain.
If you see Toyota Motorsport, we are a team which is a collection of all the nationalities more or less around Europe, from Germany, from England, from United States, Belgium, Holland, France. We have one common language to speak with each other, which is of course English. It's a real international team.
Austrian-born Alex Wirtz will be one of 3 drivers for the number 7 car.
Well, Le Mans and myself, we go back a long time. I was 21 years old, which made me the youngest ever winner of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and one of a few people only who won it at the first attempt ever, so I'm very proud of that. Then 2009 we won the race again the second time, which in a way felt more special because I was more mature and I realized so much has to go right to win this special race.
French co-driver Nicolas Lapierre's spectacular win at the 12 Hours of Sebring in 2011 helped secure his place in Toyota's LMP1 roster.
The first phone call I had from Pascal was to telling me that the project was going on and that they will be racing in Le Mans in 2012. It was very exciting, you know, it's a big project, a huge company, and you know, they don't come for making the stories, they come to win Le Mans.
At 27 years old, Japanese driver Kazuki Nakajima's only endurance experience is limited to his early days in racing. In the number 8 car is British driver Anthony Davidson, who comes to Toyota from one of Le Mans' fiercest competitors.
I got the Peugeot drive in LMP1, stayed with the team until they left the sport, and was in direct contact with Toyota straight away.
His Swiss co-driver Sebastian Buemi is fresh from Formula One.
It's good to be in F1 because the experience shows you what you actually can reach on a sprint race, but then you've got to introduce it into endurance and know you've got to be doing it for 24 hours.
To prepare for Le Mans' epic battle of man versus machine, each driver has logged countless hours in Toyota's multi-million-dollar race simulator.
On the first day I was very sick, you know, it's very difficult because the car is moving a lot, and obviously the G, the force are not exactly the same, so at the beginning you feel a bit sick. I have to say the first day was tough. Obviously Kazuki never ran the track in reality, so Kazuki is the simulator champion, so it's impossible to beat right now.
I just have more and more experience now.
He's good,
yeah,
he's definitely very good.
But winning in the simulator is a far cry from winning in the world's toughest sports car race.
By nature of the simulator, you can test only what you have understood and put into your simulation model. But the true challenges will come with all what we missed, all what we did not think about, and all what is not in our simulation model.
The information being tested in the simulator is the end result of 7 years of development that originally began with the 2007 hybrid Supra.
So this is our latest hybrid system. So half the weight, half the size, and twice of the power of the 2007 Supra hybrid system.
Halfway around the world in Cologne, Germany, the chassis is being built one component at a time. Finally, the chassis begins a series of brutal wind tunnel tests.
Yeah, the wind tunnel is one of the most important part of the development of the car. Most of the teams, they spend most of their budget trying to develop the car in the wind tunnel because a few kilos of downforce can make a big difference.
The demands that a Le Mans race car must face are extreme, but the challenges for a hybrid at Le Mans are even greater.
There are 3 main challenges that our engineers must tackle. First is the size reduction, second is the weight reduction, and third is the cooling system.
The production hybrid car is significantly different from the race car. The race car generates much higher output, which means much greater heat, and that requires vastly better cooling.
All of these issues were fully expected. But one issue Toyota didn't expect was the delicate balance between their 2 braking systems.
It's difficult because when the hybrid system tries to get some energy, then it's one more brake. So it's difficult because when the capacitors are full, then you need to release this brake, and then you need to get back on the normal brake. So it's a big challenge to make this work.
For Toyota, these challenges are not reasons to give up. They're reasons to work harder, reasons to move forward, reasons to win. And the benefits of hybrid technology in racing are tremendous.
The biggest strengths with the hybrid system in a racing application are that you can recover the energy expended during braking and use that energy for more power during acceleration. And secondly, even with low RPMs, you can achieve very high torque. That's a real competitive advantage.
Coming up, get ready for the new sound of racing.
I'm sure we'll get used to it and I'll stop jumping around like a little girl with excitement every time I see it leave the pit.
Next. For 2012, Toyota has set their sights on Le Mans and taken aim at its biggest competitor, Audi.
After 10 years of Formula One in the 21st century, we are back challenging, we say, the strong diesels of Audi with their huge experience, and see and show the world that Toyota, we say, with their concept, with their hybrid concept, will be able to do the same.
Taking on the diesels is no small task. Audi's been victorious in the 24 Hours of Le Mans for 10 out of the past 12 years. In the past, the battle has always been between factory diesels and privately funded gasoline cars.
It's very good to have a works team coming with a fuel car, because for sure there was a lot of pressure from fuel teams saying that the diesels have an advantage.
This year, all that changes. Finally, it will be a fair fight between two heavyweight factory teams slugging it out on the world's biggest stage, and the clock is ticking. January 9th, Paul Ricard Racetrack, Toyota's first installation day. It's a big day and the excitement in the air is palpable as the team sets up their bay, unloads their gear, and waits for the star attraction. Once it arrives, they will work around the clock to get it ready.
Well, it's like a countdown, you know, and when you see a rocket launch, for example, and you're counting down, the closer you come to that decision time when the car will drive out, the more anxious you get and the more excited you get. So now the car is here on the test track, so we are nearly there.
All the systems, as far as we can judge, have been working correctly. We should be able to start testing, running on the track as expected.
Spoken like a true optimist.
We have several systems which have to communicate between each other, and some communication system were failing so far. At the moment, yeah, it's still only a preparation. We will know if we achieve our first objective, if the car is able to go out of the pit at 9:00 tomorrow morning.
January 11th, 2012, Paul Ricard Racetrack. Today is much more than a scheduled rollout day. It is the realization of a dream.
Today we are living a fantastic time of history of endurance, especially because we have another manufacturer like Toyota coming with us.
Even if you are going to Le Mans with a normal car and the normal technology, it's already, you know, a big challenge. But now with this car, it will be even bigger.
It's important to understand that this new adventure of Toyota racing has not started from one day to the other. It's something which was in the background, I would say, of Toyota as a company.
After the tsunami devastated Japan, Toyota wanted to give the nation something to be proud of, something to lift their spirits, something to believe in.
Strange, the car running out without the engine. To pull away such a big car, you know, only with the batteries, it's huge. Without noise for the first time.
I'm sure we'll get used to it and I'll stop jumping around like a little girl with excitement every time I see it leave the pits in the future. But it's for now, it's brilliant. I love it.
Mike has obviously extensive experience about what a top LMP1 car is, so he will be able very quickly to tell us where our car stands relative to top-level LMP1 competitors.
We are here to produce race cars, which we want to win Le Mans, so there is no waiting around. We go as fast as it goes.
After a full day of testing, the crew is weary and the drivers are exhausted. Now, the real work begins.
Look, the first day getting in the car is actually a very systematic approach. So I get a lot of information, like lots of impressions, some minor impressions, but some sophisticated impressions. And so now we're just heading to the debrief and have to sort out all the details.
Part of that debriefing will focus on the problems their testing revealed.
On the last lap we had a small voltage problem, which in the end we stopped the car to be safe, because if the voltage went too low then all the electric systems start to be unpredictable.
Did you have a chance to look at the level of charge you get?
It's not always working, huh? Sometimes it's there and sometimes not.
Today's goals were to test several hybrid components: charging, power recovery, power assisting, as well as the electrically controlled braking to see how to harmonize it with the hybrid braking. We are very happy with our results.
January 24th.
So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry to interrupt your lunch, but we're just beginning here with the first of our group interviews. We have Pascal Vasselon, our technical director here at Toyota Racing. We have Hisatake Murata, who is project leader for the hybrid development and has been working on this for many years.
After many years in development and many frantic months building and testing, it is finally time for Toyota to introduce this car to the world. And the world can't wait to see it.
After 7 years of development, this car is like my child. I'm so proud to show it to the world.
Please, guys, come closer, take a closer look at the car. Good chance to see the detail.
It's a bit special, isn't it? You hear it accelerating, and when it comes out from the start, and you've got this, there's no engine noise. And then about here, when you get along the pit lane, you get this big bang as the V8 kicks in. And it just accelerates, and sounds a bit like an F1 car actually after that, but it's brilliant, I love it. I mean, more hybrids like that, please.
It's been an historic day. The first time the public has ever seen a hybrid LMP1 race car. The team is proud and excited, but they're also nervous. There is so much work still left to do.
This is completely new to us. The tyres are completely new. The aerodynamics is completely new. So the test at Paul Ricard is hugely important. So based on that, it will drive the development in one direction or another, depending on what the feedback is.
The next stage of testing will involve longer runs and higher speeds. And that brings greater dangers.
You have to be careful in here, because in the simulator you can crash as much as you want, but if we hit the car somewhere, we don't have a spare part, so we cannot continue testing. It's a bit of a dilemma for me. I mean, I want to push as hard as possible, but at the same time we have to look after the car.
Pushing the car to the next level is crucial. They must be ready for the Spa 6-hour endurance race, their only chance to test their mettle against Audi before the brutal 24 hours of Le Mans.
Before Spa, we were only comparing lap times, and that you can do a lot of things with. The first real test against our competitors will be in Spa.
But at this level, the competition is brutal, and Toyota's biggest rival, Audi, is about to pull the rug out from under them.
Here it is, the Audi R18 e-tron Quattro. State-of-the-art technology for the FIA World Endurance Championship, and its highlight, the 24 hours of Le Mans.
It's game-changing. Audi will be fielding 2 conventional diesels and 2 hybrid diesels in 2012.
It was a little surprise when Audi did the announcement that they're also coming with 2 hybrids and they're actually racing 4 cars in Le Mans. Honestly, I hope they really need the 4 cars.
The difference between an Audi hybrid system and a Toyota hybrid system is that we use a supercapacitor, we store energy, and Audi generates energy to a flywheel in the system.
There's no clearer way to see Toyota's hybrid race car approach than at night. The front conventional brakes glow when the energy used to stop the car is expelled as heat. The rear brakes are the regenerative brakes, which store this previously wasted energy from braking back into the supercapacitor to use for acceleration later on in the race.
We have mounted our system on the rear axle and Audi has done it on the front axle. In the regulations, we can use our system from the beginning, and Audi is allowed to use their system because it's on the front axle from 120 kph onwards.
That one difference gives Toyota an unexpected advantage.
If your battery are full and you are running out of fuel, you can just drive back to the pit and just not retire. So this is pretty amazing.
It's going to be a tough competition. You can never underestimate Audi. They're a strong team. They've been doing it a long time. We can challenge them and show that we've got a fast car. I mean, that's what we have to do there.
April 4th, Paul Ricard Racetrack. It's been 3 months since Toyota has been on this track. Since then, they've been working hard to fix the issues with downshifting. Finally, the team is ready to test it. But today, nothing is going right.
For me, it's the first time I jump back in the car since those trouble last time. The downshift has been one of our biggest issue at last test. We had a lot of trouble with it, especially on damp condition.
Because downshifting was always an issue, we've scheduled an extra shakedown to get on top of it. You know, there was communication between Japan, Germany, all over the world. In high performance conditions, everything has to happen very fast and smooth. And we realized that the software is having a few hiccups in some places, so that caused always the rear to lock and being very unstable.
Running time is very important, so the car needs to be stay on track. Obviously, the first thing we want to avoid is to crash the car. So we are very happy this morning to have a wet track because we will see the difference and if the system has been improved. It has to be confirmed on this kind of condition, on very low grip condition. So this morning is very important for us. We hope to make a good step and solve that big issue.
But that's not how it all turned out. Moments later, Nicolas Lapierre lost control of the vehicle, and the worst that could have happened did happen. Toyota crashed their only LMP1 prototype, and their dreams of running at Spa crashed with it. Coming up, Toyota's crash delivers a massive setback.
It's new technology we're dealing with, and you're going to go through teething troubles. Unfortunately, it resulted in the chassis being damaged beyond repair.
Will they be able to recover? Will they be ready for Le Mans? Find out when Toyota's road to Le Mans continues. May 8th, Aragon, Spain. It's been just over a month since Toyota's devastating crash at Paul Ricard, and after a thorough investigation, they have found the cause.
There was a hole in the control box which let water pass, and yeah, that was the reason for the accident.
First of all, we had more water in the cockpit than we thought we would have, and that's what caused a shortcut of the system, and that's why we didn't have any alarm or anything to
to tell us that it's going to have a problem. Unfortunately, there's such a new technology that it was difficult to predict that such a thing can happen.
Toyota plans to run 2 hybrid cars at Le Mans, and the second car is currently under construction. Unfortunately, it wasn't even close to race ready when the first car crashed.
It's new technology we're dealing with, and you're going to go through teething troubles. Unfortunately, in Paul Ricard, it resulted in the chassis being damaged beyond repair, really. So, yeah, it's all part of the game.
The monocoque is one of the most safety critical parts of the car, and it takes a long time to build them. So that means that we had to wait until the second monocoque was ready, and that took, we say, additional 3 weeks, and therefore we need to skip the 2 tests which we had planned before.
It's always not great to have a problem, but at least it's a testing, so it's important to find out what was the problem and not make it happen again.
The team has installed 4 safety loops that this problem cannot happen again. In French they say c'est la vie, that's life, and we have to deal with it.
Missing the 6 hours of Spa meant that Toyota also missed their only chance to compete against Audi before the 24 hours of Le Mans. But Audi definitely made their presence known.
Were you surprised that the Audi actually put the hybrid on the pole at Spa?
Not really, it was a great marketing exercise, wasn't it?
But even though Toyota didn't get a chance to compete with Audi, they did get a chance to observe them.
We could see that during the race they had also trouble with braking, locking a lot the front wheel. We could see that we are not the only ones struggling with braking.
Toyota continues to fine-tune their braking, but at least one other issue has finally been resolved.
We had some problem with the downshift, and now we got over all the problem. It's really clear that we are stepping forward all the time.
We've made a huge step, a lot of progress in the right direction since then, and we're here now with the second chassis, baby number 2, and yeah, ready to go again.
With an updated hybrid system and a new aero package, Toyota will use the next 3 days to run a 30-hour endurance test, focusing on performance and reliability, as well as mechanic and driver practiced pit stops.
For me, this test, this simulation is the most important. If we are going through this simulation without major issue, then we can sort out all the small details in the next one in Paul Ricard, and then we will be ready for Le Mans.
And Motorland Aragon is the ideal track.
We definitely use this configuration of circuit to simulate Le Mans. It's very good for doing tyre work. So working with Michelin, we're going through all the tyre ranges that we'll have potentially available at Le Mans and trying to whittle that down to the tyres that we'll choose for that race.
Conditions are perfect, very tough, very hot, difficult for everybody, for everyone, for the car, for the mechanic at the pit stop. So it's the ideal situation in the one we are now.
But before they can start their 30 hours, they have to learn how to start the car.
The thing is, you get given this handbook before you get in the car, and I read it through so many times. I was dead sure of the procedure. Maybe something went wrong, but I was doing everything I'd read. I was never very good at school, that's why I'm a racing driver, man. But now I've done it once, I know how to do it.
As the day progresses, the drivers are feeling the improvements that have been made since their last test at Paul Ricard.
It feels great. I mean, it's the first proper test we do with the new aero package, and it seems quite efficient. It's a very good first shot. We are working on it, and I think it gets even better.
It's going to be a long one. Looking forward to it.
He says it's easy after Formula 1. Bits that impressed me the most, definitely the high-speed corners and the overall agility of the car in the slow-speed sections. And it feels like a lighter car, so that's a real good sign. You really need to rev the engine a lot, so you miss this...
But you have more revs to play with.
You have more revs to play with. It's really strange. So yeah, that was strange to have such a big range of RPM. But when you're near the top side of the RPM, then the engine's coming back.
With every improvement and every development, Toyota further validates their own hybrid design and takes one step closer to Le Mans.
The philosophy has not changed. We knew what we had to improve. You have to be ready in Le Mans, so you will prepare maybe even more intensive, but the procedures are the same, the competition is the same, they are waiting for us, we will be there.
It's very encouraging to have good performance from such a new car in its life, so for me the potential of this car is huge.
But as the clock winds down and June 16th looms larger on the horizon, one thing is absolutely certain. It will take more than potential to get this team across the finish line at Le Mans. Up next, Le Mans, France. Toyota presents their cars for scrutineering. But will they pass inspection? Toyota's road to Le Mans continues in a moment. June 10th, Le Mans, France. The big race is now less than a week away, but as the teams arrive at Le Mans, there are still hurdles yet to clear. The first is scrutineering. This is the technical inspection that ensures each team is in compliance with regulations.
The scrutineers are going to check the car on its legality, and everything goes okay. We get our stamp and the car is race ready then.
Okay. As expected, everything is in order for Toyota. And now it is time for them to unveil their car.
Well, Le Mans is not only 24 hours, it's a long week full of traditional stuff. So like today on the Monday, we are here in the middle of the town, it's scrutineering, people come to watch the cars, and it's all very traditional, and you have to love it for that, and I do so.
Throngs of fans are waiting, and they have traveled far and wide to finally see this historic car.
Normally our fans and the spectators know Toyota from racing with red and white, but Toyota's hybrid color is blue.
Nice car. Yeah, now we are blue, before we were red, but in the end it doesn't matter. I think the test day shown that our speed is there. We're here to put pressure on our friends from Germany, pressure as long as we can, and then we see where we're ending up in the end of the race.
It is a moment of joy and triumph for Toyota. To have come so far in such a short time, now they are here, ready to race, ready to make history, ready to compete on the world's biggest stage, the 24 Hours of Le Mans.
Le Mans is something completely special, very heroic and very intense.
It is an endurance test on every possible level, and ultimately, a race where drivers are tested.
It's very challenging, it's very dangerous, a lot of cars, a lot of spectators, so it's a huge challenge.
We are not Sunday afternoon drivers. You have super fast corners, so we're exposed to extreme G-forces, more than 4 Gs, so 4 times the weight of the helmet is pushing on your neck. Therefore, you need to be extremely fit. Swimming, cycling, running, going to the gym, rock climbing, everything to keep strength and get strong. Comparing endurance racing to, let's say, an IndyCar race or Formula 1 race, it's like comparing a 100-meter sprinting compared to a marathon running. 2.5, 3 hours stint in the car, then I just have a little break, and a few hours later I'm going again. And that for 24 hours, so I'm covering almost half a Formula 1 season in one race only.
24 hours, one single day, a day that may well define the whole future of racing. Coming up, Toyota goes head-to-head with Audi in qualifying. The results when we return. June 13th, Le Mans, France. To the casual observer, the scene here at Le Mans may look chaotic, But it is, in fact, a precise choreography with one single-minded goal: winning.
Well, now after 9 months, here comes one of the most intense moments of the week, which is qualifying. Inside the traffic, the driver has to find a clean lap and just fully attack to it.
Yeah, you build them to your maximum that you have all the time. There's no, in this game, there's no holding back.
But early on in their practice session, Toyota experienced a major engine failure.
First of all, it's only my feeling that it's the engine gone. There might be something else, but sometimes when a gearbox goes, it can sound and feel exactly like an engine going. Should be able to get the car on the truck and back to the pits, and they'll start working on it. But it's a tall order to get out there by tonight.
Now it's a race against time to get this car repaired so it can qualify.
To change one of these engines in 1 hour, 25 minutes, when you think of all the electronics from the hybrid system as well, in conjunction with this engine, it's a really quick change.
Perfect lap, but a good first qualifying lap, I would say. We will have a few more runs in new tires, and I think we can improve a bit.
Traffic every single lap, so the lap times don't reflect the true speed of the car. But I think we can push them harder, a lot harder than what we're doing at the moment. And we just need the conditions to be right. Hopefully get a bit closer to those pesky Audis.
All eyes are on the Audi, hoping to glimpse a chink in their armor.
I think we need to wait a bit, Audi guys, to push to know where we are, but it's a nice start. It's good to be here. We have a first good lap. Now we need to push a little bit more to find few things.
I still feel they're potentially playing with us slightly. I still feel like they could just turn their boost up slightly more. We haven't seen any black smoke, and that's the telltale sign on a diesel when they're pushing it to the limit.
June 14th.
Well, everything we do, we always measure against ourselves, against Audi. They're the biggest rivals, and there's a big rivalry, you know. I mean, for example, El Magnesh, a friend of mine, he's always out there pushing like crazy, so we have to do the same.
It was the first time we'd actually seen the Toyota. I wasn't necessarily that surprised by the pace. It was very fast straight away. What I was surprised about was the straight line speed. They were about 5 miles an hour faster than we were on the end of the straights, and there's 5 big straights here, so that's quite important. I have to say that they are strong competitors.
Against all odds, and despite an engine failure during practice, they have qualified 3rd and 5th, roughly 1 second behind the top 2 Audis.
It's more than we expected. We're bloody happy, and watch us, we go for it.
We've shown the potential, and I think someone in the front of the pits, Audi, is a bit scared now.
But as important as qualifying is, there is one thing that qualifying is not. It is not racing.
In any sport, we always like battles. We like 2 big titans going up against each other. As a spectator, as a fan, and as a driver, as a team, as mechanics and engineers, that's what we all come here for, is that fight.
Performance in qualifying is good, and now rock and roll for a race.
This is the calm before the storm, and for Toyota, the precipice of a new adventure. Most manufacturers take years to develop a car capable of competing in the top tier of prototype racing. Toyota has done it in only 9 months. Toyota has willed the dream into life, but will this be enough? In just a few hours, the world's first hybrid LMP1 race car will take on the world's toughest sports car endurance race. and racing itself will be redefined.